Back, and it's time for Investors Digest. Yes. Hopefully you've been digesting what we've been sharing with you. Last week we were looking at how to make that money stretch a little bit. You know, we had such key terms like paying yourself a salary from your salary. You know, taking out a little bit and saving it. But not just saving it, also trying to make some money for you and all that kind of things. We're bringing back our guests from last week, Zandra Bowen and Devonson Hill. Gentlemen, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having us.
All right, so yeah, I've been kind of just looking back at some of the things we looked at yesterday. Last week. Anything that you all want to emphasize before we move on? Anything about that whole stretching the dollar thing that we did last week?
Well, one thing I would like to say is that looking at making the whole thing habitual and sometimes trying to squeeze out that extra sum of money that you can put aside when the month come, that is where basically we come in. Because when it is that you need someone to sit down with you on a one-on-one basis and go through with you all the things that you could possibly do to either make more money for you or squeeze more money out of your salary and what's not, that's where we come in then to lend you that helping hand, that assistance.
It's interesting that you say, you know, trying to squeeze it out, because sometimes we as people, you know, if we want to do something, we kind of find ways to get that money. If we want that Beanie Man ticket that's going to cost us $500, well, it wasn't Beanie Man. We find ways, but sometimes
if you're going to spend it.
Right. But sometimes that's like one off, or maybe two off, or maybe if you're going to Trinidad Carnival, like 10 days. But on a monthly or a weekly basis, you guys can find ways to help people to squeeze that money out.
Well, yes, we can actually. Basically, all right, so let us just examine, for example, the difference between just normal saving versus investing.
That's a key thing.
All right. Now, saving basically is simply the accumulation of funds, which is basically where you're just putting down money on a monthly basis. The aim is to just reach some desired total.
And your grandparents used to do that pretty effectively back in the day, on the mattress. And so that was saving, accumulating funds.
That was saving, just simply accumulating funds. Investing, though, on the other hand, now that's where you're actually trying to get your money to work for you. That's where it is that you're actually trying to get your money to make more money for you.
But I would like to sit down at home and just let that money go to work.
Exactly.
You know, be here at 5 o'clock in the morning. That'd be great. So how do we do that?
And the thing is that's where you're actually purchasing a financial instrument that has the potential to earn you more money on the money that you actually invested in it. And that's you're also taking on the risk associated with that instrument as well. All right.
We're going to look at some of those, but let me just tell our viewers, or remind them, because I know they probably know. You may call us at the numbers right there. Yeah, those numbers. Sometimes I forget what they are, but they're right there. 228-5562, 228-5563. The memory is working today thanks to the voice in the air. Right, so instruments. You know, one of the things that don't really happen to people like me is that we don't become overnight millionaires. You know, don't play the lottery so we don't win it. That sort of thing. And when you're investing, I used to think, you know, as a youngster growing up, that when they say invest, you know, you have a little $25 and it turns into $100 in about 2 weeks.
Right.
As we found out, those things are called Ponzi schemes.
Yes.
We have to be patient, though, when it comes to investing. Is that it? What's the key thing about trying to make your money make money?
Well, I could say that one of the things to consider is the time value of money. A dollar today is worth more than a dollar tomorrow. And that is something that we tend to forget is very important, especially in terms of investing. We also have the comparison between simple interest and compound interest, where simple interest, you just put down a set of money and you get the funds on the principal. But compound interest, now you actually earn interest on your interest, you actually bills. So it is a good foundation to work on these things. And Zandra alluded to before about having the financial instruments. I guess he can go on to talk about a lot more about it. So I just wanted to put that point there about the time value of money.
All right. Thank you for introducing that. We will explore that some more, but we have a caller right now.
Corey?
So, Corey, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Corey.
I have a question. You're making a sum of $400 a week, and you have something like rent at $800, then you have other things to say. How can you squeeze and save money out of that? Make extra money out of that?
And most people probably want to know that, guys.
Practical, real life.
Yeah.
How do we break this down? You have your calculator?
I guess to answer that question, you just need to go back to the principles of before. Cut out the impulse buying. Try to focus on how you could allocate stuff in your budget. You know, priorities versus your wants and that kind of thing. So that's the things that you can do to just make simple decisions to really stretch the dollar.
And one of the key things you were saying is that you treat your saving as a bill too. You mentioned having to pay the rent.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Because he's saying, I have that rent to pay, so you should...
Yeah.
Right.
So exactly. So the same way how it is that rent is important to you and all those other things that you figure, these commitments, the must-dos, the paying yourself that salary is also a must-do. So you associate the same level of priority then with taking out that set of money that goes towards yourself, goes towards your saving, that you associate with all those other things that you consider to be so pressing in your life.
So do you also teach people how to not worry about it, the fact that they're essentially making this money unavailable for a better future somewhere down the line? Still, you know, do you talk people through how to still maintain what feels like a good quality of life to them, or like they still have time? Do you also factor in, okay, you can go ahead and buy this? The impulse, what does the impulse shopping turn into now?
Well, what I can say is that we have a mantra for citizens where we focus and help our clients to realize their both professional and personal goals. We actually sit down and go through everything to see how best we can maintain your standard of living while putting you in a position to get something for the future. So it's very important where we spend that time to go through you, because not a lot, you miss a lot of details, but we go through everything with a fine-tooth comb and everything's there for you.
All right, we have another caller for you. Ronaldo, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
We're good, how are you?
Good.
Hi, girl one.
Go ahead.
Really, truly, the gentleman already asked the question just now. How do you squeeze $1,600 a month? How do you build a portfolio to get more money coming in to that money? Or what do we cut out? What do we eliminate? What do we put back in? Please answer that. Thanks.
Okay, well, the thing is that for each and every single person, the situation is going to be different, and the avenues that you can take to stretch that dollar, the avenues that you can take to probably bring in more money would be different. But the thing is that starting small is never a problem, and building an investment portfolio, although people normally have the preconception that you need large sums of money to start.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting, because let's say you have your $1,600, you take the $800 and you pay the rent, you know, $200 for the light bill, and the, I don't know, telephone. So that's $1,000 gone. You have $600 left. You're saying you could start small, you could pay yourself maybe $100. But let's look now at a concept that you introduced, the compound interest versus the simple interest.
Yeah.
Do we have those available to us out there?
Exactly.
Can we put $100? No?
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's where you actually get the opportunity to combine saving with investing. Because the thing is that you're not necessarily going to have a large sum of money to invest one time, but that's why you would use an account then that allow you to both save, so accumulate funds, while allowing the funds that you're accumulating to actually work for you and make more money for you, hence investing. And we offer such products as well at for Citizens Investment Services.
I think you guys both pretty much answered that question. You know, to pay yourself another bill. It's just see it as another important thing and cut out the impulse stuff. Okay, our final caller this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Just a comment. If you wrote down every single thing out, that, like the pork chop, a pack of cigarettes, rum and coke, wrote it down for 1 month, and you would see how much money you could save, and take that money and just put it in a bank. So nothing simpler to do. Just put it on the bank.
That's true.
Not the pork chop. We can't cut that up. But yeah, he has a point though.
Yeah.
You kind of you have to start at some time. You can't just, I suppose, wait and say, how do I do? You have to start, right? And that's the thing. Starting early is best. What do you say?
Yes, definitely starting early.
Very much so. You need to develop the habit of saving from young, as we mentioned last week. Once you get into that habit, it's a lot easier to maintain over the period of time. So you need to start as young as possible.
Okay.
Right, and you know, sometimes we think we have all the time in the world, and usually when we start this discussion with you guys, we think we have a whole 15 minutes, and you know what? It's up already. What are we going to look at next week? We're going to continue this? And
we continue this, we probably look at some actual budgeting this time, focusing on how to get your personal budget together. And
so we'll crunch real numbers?
You could crunch some numbers.
Okay. We'll start with a $1,600 salary. Thank you, gentlemen, again, as usual, for coming in and sharing with us. Andre Bowen and Devon St. Hill. Yeah, it is. This has been your Investor Digest. Investor